And for Lauren to pick Natural Woman, too, I thought that was very brave, such a well-known song. All right, well-known woman, Nancy Wilkinson in the Hampton Roadshow kitchen today from the Junior League, doing so many great things out there in the community.
Excellent.
And a great thing in our kitchen today, making that Bayside Balsamic Glazed Salmon. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so what do we do first?
First, we're going to get a nice selection of salmon. I usually look for a red piece. I ask them to cut the skin off. Most people like the skin on. I like it off. Wash it, pat it dry, and then I'm going to boil it in the oven. I put a little salt and pepper on it.
Now, you said you look for like a nice red piece of fish. I mean, sometimes it could be really, really bright.
Exactly.
And then sometimes it's like pale pink. So, I mean, how do you know?
I like the bright red, and I like the Atlantic salmon, the wild.
Okay.
I don't like
wild.
farm raised.
Not farm.
Correct.
Okay. All righty. And then it looks like you said, you washed it, patted it dry, a little bit of seasoning on it.
Little salt and pepper. Then we're going to pop it in the oven, and then we're going to put the glaze on it.
Okay. Should we put it in the oven now?
Sure.
What do you have the oven on?
It's on broil on number 2.
Okay.
Broil it.
So is it going to be in there for very long?
Probably about 2 or 3 minutes.
All right. That's not long at all.
Yeah. Depends on how thin the fish is.
Okay. So the secret to the taste of this dish, because I mean, salmon, has a distinct flavor and it's
Exactly.
good. But, what you do with it really separates one thing from the other. So we're making a balsamic glaze today.
And it has balsamic vinegar, Dijon mustard. I put a little honey in it and a little brown sugar.
Okay.
And then when it comes out, I drizzle it on, pop it back in the oven for just maybe about 30 seconds. So it heats on.
Okay.
And then it's ready to go.
Is that really the difference between like a sauce and a glaze? As the glaze gets put back in? Makes sense, like pottery.
It's got
Although I'm sure the
sweetness to it,
salmon will be
honey.
tender.
Yes, yes, yes.
So this is a recipe that you mentioned is in the Taste of Tidewater cookbook. So tell me a little bit more about this book.
This is our newest cookbook. It's a beautiful cookbook. We call it our coffee table cookbook. And also it has different areas, talks about the different areas we have, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, and it has wine pairings as well. It's a wonderful cookbook.
So
it's a nice compliment to our Tidewater on the Half Shell, which has been around for 29 years.
Wow. All right, well, we've got our salmon in the oven. We'll work on the glaze when we get back. You can show us how to put that glaze together, and then we'll put our dish together and keep talking with Nancy about what the Junior League is up to these days. Right now, we need to check in with meteorologist Jeremy Wheeler. All right, back in the Hampton Roadshow kitchen, making Bayside Balsamic Glazed Salmon. With Spinach this morning, Nancy Wilkinson is here from the Junior League to talk about this recipe and the cookbooks, which is where people, we put the recipe on the HamptonRoadshow.com for folks, but they can also find it here in the Taste of Hampton Roads.
And if you go to our website at jlnvb.org, you can click on a link and purchase our cookbook, and we'll mail it right to you.
Yeah, you guys do a lot of cookbooks. You've done the one for kids.
We have Kids in the Kitchen cookbook, and we also get various other cookbooks from other leagues to sell as well.
Yeah, it must be tough to whittle it down to just one book of recipes because, cooking's a big thing. People like to trade their recipes and probably get overwhelmed.
Yes, I love to cook, and sometimes you just pull from every cookbook and make a dinner. It's great.
Well, you picked a great recipe for us today, our balsamic glazed salmon. The salmon is out of the oven. That took no time.
No time at all. This is a very easy and healthy, nutritious meal.
And you boiled it. You didn't turn it over. No, you just put it under the broiler.
Put it under the broiler. I did it on broiler 3. If you're lucky enough to have a wonderful oven that you can control the heat. And then once you
finish, not dragging every time you put it in.
Once you finished, I made the glaze.
You made the glaze when no one was looking?
I did.
You're gonna have to tell. You're gonna have to work backwards.
It's very easy.
How you did it.
It's very easy. I can do it again.
Okay, good.
I just took a little bit of brown sugar. Put that in there. And a little bit of Dijon mustard.
Yep, and Nancy did go over the ingredients for the glaze earlier. We will put them in the HamptonRoadshow.com. It's coming back to me now. Remember, there's a little honey in here, too.
Little honey. And if you have the honey that you have in a jar, if you coat the spoon with olive oil or cooking spray, it'll come out, it'll just slide right off the spoon. But I like to squeeze mine out of a little berry bear.
Of course. What fun is honey if you don't get the little bear bottle?
Exactly. And then you pour in a little balsamic vinegar.
Hence the name of the dish, the Bayside Balsamic Glaze. Now, who came up with this recipe, Nancy? Is this one of yours, or was it submitted for the book?
It was submitted for the book. It's in Toasted Tidewater. And you just stir it up. And you can taste it to see if it's sweet enough. I like to put a little brown sugar in because it does tend to sweeten up the tartness of the balsamic vinegar.
Well, yeah, and salmon kind of lends itself to that. You see a lot of people using like an apricot glaze or something sweet to put on top of it anyway. Okay.
And see how easy that was?
That was very
Less than
easy.
a couple of minutes.
No cooking or anything like
No
that?
cooking.
Well, I saw the pot on the stove and I was thinking, oh, I bet the glaze is made in here, but it's not.
No, you just stir it up in a little spoon,
Okay.
in a little jar, and then we're just going to spoon it over.
And then this is going back in, right?
Just for a few minutes. We'll do that last. We'll do the white wine spinach next because that's going to take a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll put this back in just to warm it because you don't want to cook it because you'll overcook the salmon and
it's
it'll
already
become
cooked.
dry.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then I always have a little extra because some people want to put more
A little bit on
on
the
their
side.
salmon afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's it.
So for the white wine spinach,
For the white wine
we have time to
spinach,
get that started and then we'll finish it up.
Sure. We're going to put in a lot of garlic
Mm-hmm.
because garlic is always good for
I like
you.
your measurements, Nancy. You're going to put in a lot of.
A lot of garlic.
Garlic.
Well, you know, it says like 2 cloves, but I like to put in 3 or 4. You know,
Uh-huh.
you never know. And then
Can't
you
go
just
wrong
put in
with
a little
garlic and
olive oil.
I don't know why Yankee Candle has not yet made the garlic and olive oil.
I know, that's such a wonderful scent.
I know. All right, so we'll let you keep working on the spinach because,
Okay.
as you mentioned, I know it's going to take a little while to kind of wilt down. So we'll check back in with
Okay,
Nancy in
wonderful.
just a little bit. Right now, we're going to check in with Cheryl.
Looking good in the kitchen.
Back in the Hampton Road Show kitchen, making our Bayside Balsamic Glazed Salmon with white wine spinach this morning. Nancy Wilkinson is here from the Junior League. This is a recipe right out of their cookbooks that we've also got on the counter.
Excuse
The
me?
salmon is coming out because remember, we put the salmon in under the boiler once to cook it, and then this time we
1
just
minute.
went in for a little bit.
1 minute.
1 minute just to set that glaze. Okay, so our salmon is done. We can stop messing around with
Stop
that.
messing around. We're finished with our white wine spinach. While Sho was cooking, I poured in the white wine, and now it's all sautéed down. It's ready to serve.
Now, the thing with spinach, too, is, I mean, it's kind of up to your taste, isn't it, in terms of whether you want to let it really, really wilt down almost to nothing, or you look like you're leaving it a little bit
I try to leave
crisp.
it a little crisp because you don't want it to be mushy or mealy when you're chewing it.
Right,
When you're
right.
eating it. So,
Okay. Let's talk more about the cookbooks and where people can get one if they would like to make this recipe and take a look at the others.
you can go to the Junior League website, jlnvb.org. You have a link we can click on, purchase the cookbook. I also have a cooking blog, which is going to be posted on your website, and it also has a link to purchase the cookbook.
Are you going to write about me?
Yes.
I didn't have to say that. But this book is the new one, too, and I keep going back to it because it's so pretty. You know, the other ones, it's like they go on your little cookbook shelf, and you see the spine, which is very nice. But you said this one really goes on the coffee table.
It does. It's got beautiful pictures. It talks about the different areas of Hampton Roads,
is a nice
Gloucester, and we also have wine pairings in it, which makes it a little bit nicer.
That's true because, you know, I mean, people get the recipe down, and then they don't
They don't know
what
what
to serve
kind
with
of
it.
wine with
Yeah.
it.
So it's nice to have that help as well. And, you know, it's all local, which is pretty much what we're about here on the Hampton Road Show.
Exactly.
All right, Nancy, when we come back, you're going to put it on a plate, and Nancy has even another little surprise for you that you'll get to see that goes with this dish when you fix it up on a plate.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know what
Nancy's
you're
looking
talking
at me like,
about.
what are you talking
I know
about,
what
Jerry?
you're talking about.
She
You
knows
let
what
my
I'm
secret
talking
out.
about. All right.